So now let's look at it, the Android architecture. So basically there are five steps: application framework, Android runtime, and platform libraries, and Linux kernel. So if I talk about the Linux kernel, which is at the level one, we can say this is the heart of the Android, which is basically the bottom layer connected with the hardware. So all type of memory management, device management, power management, etc. are the responsibility of the Linux kernel. So the Linux kernel manages all the drivers during the runtime, and we can also say that it is a abstraction layer between device hardware and the remainder of the stack. Now looking at the hardware abstraction layer, so it is basically the hardware specific implementation, and it provides the interface between the system services, that is like camera software, drivers, camera software and the drivers. So camera application, as we have seen in our mobile devices, we have a camera application, and in the backend, that is a software, and in the backend, drivers are managing the camera software. So hardware abstraction layer is something that is provide the interface between the two, the software and the drivers. Now let's look at the platform libraries. So platform libraries, we can say it is like platform libraries or native C or C++ libraries. These are like the core libraries present in the operating system. If we talk about, there are different types of libraries as you can see. So if we talk about the database library, so that is the SQLite. So the SQLite manages the databases. Similarly, SSL manages the security, and WebKit is again services. Again, WebKit is a library that manages the HTML content, or like how the application is getting loaded in the browser. So this is like something called open source browser engine built for the browsers. Then again, it allows the application developer to render the web component, how to view the web application. So WebKit manages all this functionality. It also enables the web component or the web functionality. Now we have media, like media framework manages all the audio, video, graphics, formats, uh, all all these kind of frameworks are being managed by the media libraries. Then again, there are 2D, 3D pixels that are also managed by these libraries to view in the system. As we see in the mobile devices, we can see that the application view in the 2D, 3D formats. So these are all being managed by the media libraries. Now we have Android runtime. So Android runtime is used to execute the application code. Then after execution of the application code, it is being uh, preceded by the DVM, which is Dalvik Virtual Machine, which will compile the code to Dalvik executable file, which is the DEX files. So this is a runtime translation to machine code, which is again computed to Android from framework to deliver the Android functionality. So basically, in simple words, Android runtime compiles the application code into DEX files, which is Dalvik exe files, and this DEX file is being again in the runtime, Android runtime, translated to machine code, which is again computed by the Android framework. So that in order to deliver the uh, functionality or the behavior a user is expected from the application. Now we have application framework, which is present on the top of Android runtime and native library. So this is basically this framework is behaves as an API and is used by a developer to perform certain tasks. Like as you can see, this framework provides certain components that like active. Yeah, to talk about the application framework, this is present on top of the Android runtime platform libraries. This application framework is used by the developers to perform certain tasks, and it provides certain components like activity manager, notification manager, package manager, Windows manager, content providers, view systems. So if we talk about the content providers, this provides the data between apps uh, to communicate like contact, calendar. So this content providers actually shares data between the applications. Like if you want to access the contacts, suppose you might have seen the application called Google Maps. So sometimes when you install the application for the first time, it will try to access the uh, calendar, or it will try to access the contacts. So you generally allow it. So this is the tasks in the backend being done from the content providers. Now we have view system. So view system as the package as the view system framework suggests, this provides images, button, visual components through which an user interacts. You might have seen in the mobile devices when you scroll on the applications will provide certain buttons, visual components to go through. So this is all the task of the view system. Now we let's talk about the activity manager. This is where the user interacts with the app, like whether to start the application, stop the application, launch the application, and so on. So this all the user activities are managed through Activity Manager. Now we have something called Location Manager. Uh, yeah, as when you install the Google Map, you might see the application asking to allow the location permission. So this has to be managed by the Location Manager. Now we have something called Package Manager. Package Manager is nothing but it will track the Android app installation and installation utilizing resources. These tasks are being done in the backend so that when there is a successful installation, then this package manager will throw a notification to the user that the Android app is installed. But again, package manager is integrated with the notification manager. So how it notify Android users about an event that it is responsible for. So like after successful installation, we get a notification that the app is installation. So this is the task of the notification manager again. Now there is something called resource manager. So resource manager looks for the resources that being required by the end users like audio files, text files from the uh, Uh, Now let's look at the window manager. Window manager is something like it displays on the screen, like as we say, it displays on the window. Like you want to see the application in a single window or multiple window, um, or different tasks are being performed on different windows. So these are being managed by the window manager. Now, at last, I'll talk about the applications. Applications are nothing but the third-party applications that are being used by the system and is system apps can be third-party applications like we can talk about browser, calendar used on top of the Android to utilize the resources. So application developers develop this third-party application so that we can successfully install on the Android devices and use it based on the user needs. So if you talk about Android is something that is built on Linux kernel, where it is used to talk to the hardware parts of the mobile and perform certain actions.